And there we go. Holy crap, that took forever. Boy, am I glad to see that working. Great news, everybody. It's like Christmas morning for me because apparently my Gex server was approved. I was supposed to be today making a video about generating waveforms on the website for the previews, but I saw the server was working and I thought I'm immediately going to do something with this. Now, a Gex server is on Hetzner basically a dedicated server with a graphics card specifically intended for AI inference. Not really for training, but for inference. Now, inference just means using it to get a result, right? So like ChatGPT, you're running inference on a ChatGPT model, and the model itself can be trained. So, not to give you a whole lecture on AI models, I had a dedicated graphics card on my computer, but the problem with it was every time I would do anything on my computer and it would be running the inference, it would slow down everything. So what I wish I had was a separate server or a separate computer that could run this AI inference as I was doing other things. That's where the Gex server came in. But it was very pricey to get. I'm paying 180 euros a month for the Gex server and then an initial cost of 200 to actually set it up. But for what you're getting, it's very cheap. And because this was actually supposed to be something I had to budget for, because I have a budget for everything I do related to my work and my company, it took a couple of months to actually squeeze out enough dollars to get there. But we're finally here. It was approved because, as far as I know, I'm not trying to scam anybody. And today I want to set up LM Studio on my Fedora and then set up the headless version, which apparently exists now, on the actual remote server and see if we can get it working. Now, am I going to be using it specifically for LM Studio? Probably not. I'm thinking about doing things like transcription services for my audio because I would like to automatically get a video I make, turn that into subtitles, and then run certain commands on something like ChatGPT or my own model that will create a title, a description, and a set of tags, just to automate the work. And if it works really well, you can use a transcription service for really anything else, you know, transcribe. I don't know how to say it. Transcribe to transcribe videos. And there's lots of other things you can do, image generation, etc. But my priority at the end of the day is not all these side projects. It's to run inference on it that I was doing before on my local machine and related to audio work. So let's get started, see if we can get it working. Maybe we'll have our own little spell checker at the end of the day so we don't look so weird in our emails. Alright, now remember, I'm coming from Windows, so setting all of this up might be a little bit complicated. I have gotten more used to using Linux, but still sometimes it's a little funky. To run LM Studio, I can actually just get the latest file here, and once that's done, we're going to continue on to the next steps. I will be editing out pieces where I wonder what I'm doing, just so that this video has a bit of a momentum, you know? Alright, it's been a couple minutes, and one of the cool things about Linux is that you have something called app images, which I guess is sort of like comparable to executables on Windows. I didn't actually know this existed. But there you go. So I've downloaded it, and if I'm correct, it should actually be here. You can see right there, it's an LM Studio. So I'm just gonna do a directory here, LM Studio, just for convenience, and then move the app image in there. So it should be gone now. There you go. So this is the app image, and one of the things that we can do with it is actually just run it very easily, right? We have to first make it executable. That's really it, which might actually confuse Windows users, but really what we're doing here is we're telling the machine this is something we would like to be able to execute. And if you make everything just executable, you could run any program. So really it's a security feature. It's really not intended to hurdle you in any way. And to execute it, really what you could do is just double click it in some of the desktop environments, or in the terminal you would just run it using // And once I do that, if there are no issues, which probably there might be, it will just open it up like so. And if you're in a terminal, you can actually view you can see the full log of what it's doing, which is very handy, especially if you're a developer or if there are particular issues. I feel like on Windows, this is something that probably we should also have, if we don't already have that, so that you can see what the app is doing at all times if you want to. So anyway, here is LM Studio. what I can do is I can just hit skip for now. I'm going to just turn that one on because I'm a developer and there'll probably maybe something useful in there at some point. Now, why is LM Studio so great, guys? LM Studio is great because everybody can use it. All you have to do is go to the top here, select the model to alt, and then I'm just going to do the model you choose really has to do with your particular use case. I myself think a lot of the models are very bad. A lot of them are very moralizing and aren't really intended to do specific tasks. They're more like telling you what you can and can't be doing all the time. Okay, so we're here. I finally downloaded it. I am back, and now it's asking me to load the model. So I'm just going to hit load model, which may or may not make everything very, very slow. Or maybe it's actually very, very good. We got a button here, use a new chat. But I think it's still loading it. Oh, there you go. I can see the progress bar now. Okay, use a new chat. Okay, I think I should have just clicked out of the model window. So if I say something now, like, and hopefully this won't like absolutely crash my video recording. There you go. So it basically works. You have, hello, how can I help you today? If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to ask. What is 4 plus 4? Amazing. And you can see here that it's like having a conversation with you. And LM Studio is great because you can also have an API. You're right. You have all these integrations and developer tools, and oh, it's just great. Now, once this works, your obvious question is, well, it works on your GPU. Why are you now then having a Gex server? Well, with the Gex server, you have much more memory, a much more capable graphics card, so you can run much larger models and much faster, smaller models. So, and all of that is offloaded into a place that's always accessible. So it's great. Now comes the tricky part though, because I'm going to have to get into my Gex server and install the headless LM Studio and then somehow connect the client and the server together. So I will be doing a bit of trial and error here to see how to get it working. You guys know the expression, do as I say, not as I do. I always tell you, don't allow people to log into root, especially not with a password. What am I about to do in this video? Log into my server as root with a password. Now, to calm you down, I will be resetting the server after this video and setting up the proper security configuration. But do as I say, not as I do. One of the things you should never do is when you're on a root account on your Linux server is run any command that somebody tells you to run. And so what I'm going to be doing in this video is run any command somebody tells me to run on root. Okay, I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but it's been about 1 hour because I was unable to run the curl command. And I didn't know what the issue was. It wasn't the firewall. It wasn't a DNS issue. So I just decided to reboot the server with a fresh installation to see if that would fix it. And it's going to take a bit of time, but I'll get there. On the bright side, I did learn how to reinstall the server now. So next time, after the video ends, I can, do that. Undo all the fucking mistakes. Holy shit. Alright, you know how you say you do something the way somebody tells you to do it, and then it doesn't work? Well, it's because you didn't do it the way they told you to do it. I just had the same issue with the ports, but we can finally move on to actually installing LMester. I will say it's been 2 hours since I made the last clip where I was generally confused about why I couldn't use curl. And it turns out that the dedicated Gex firewall is considered a stateless firewall, which means that when it makes an HTTP connection, it's not aware that it belongs to an existing connection. So you have to open up the ephemeral, I don't know how to say that word, ports belonging to TCP in the range 32,000 something and 65,000. I'm going to look up what to do now because we have the daemon running. All right, let's check the status of the server. It's not running, so we're going to have to start it. It's not running on port 1234. Let's see if we can actually receive the model here. It tells us to check that. We have to go to localhost 1234 v1 models. Perfect. I'm going to install the Llama 3B. So LMS models download Llama 3AB instruct. I'm going to see if this is how to do it. It actually tells me to use get here. There we go. I'm just going to choose the top one here. It's going to take some time for this to install. Downloading at 100 megabytes per second. This is a type of internet speed I've never seen before. That's crazy. Okay, so now we're going to load the actual model. Okay, we're missing some packages here, I think. There we go. I think that now fixes. Okay, so now we have the model working, and so what we usually do is we can use an API, right? So you would make a curl command like this one, where you would connect to it and you would ask it to autocomplete a specific instruction, and it would give you a response. Now, the thing is, we don't want to use the terminal, so we're going to have to configure our LM Studio. Alright, so it turns out, after much deliberation, that the way to get this to work on the Gex server, I don't even need to have LM Studio. As a matter of fact, you install Open Web UI on your server, and then you connect it to the LMester, and that's really it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to follow these steps to start it up. And the way to do it is we have to do sudo apt update and apt install docker io. Yes, because we're going to use Docker to actually set up Open Web UI here. Alright, after some other struggles, I finally got Docker working. So we're going to paste in the command here, which is going to install Docker as the web UI as a Docker package. And then we could, in theory, check if it's running, open up the port for web UI, disable the port for inference, and everything should be good. Matter of fact, let me just update the port already. Now, the Open Web UI thing, it seems to work out of the box. Really what it does is it allows you to use the OpenAI like protocol to talk to your AI models, and the LMS from LM Studio uses that protocol. And so LMS now is the driver really, but you could have, for instance, Llama as well. And so it turns out that really there's a lot of different ways to plug and play these things, and so the start of my video is completely destroyed, because I thought you could run LMS on your server and then use LM Studio to talk to it. And as from what I see right now, LM Studio doesn't have that capability yet. So I really hoped to use LM Studio as a graphical client instead of having to use Open Web UI, but there you go. So let's do Docker PS. We can see that it's running. There we go. Okay. So far it hasn't found a model yet. The server wasn't running. Yeah, that would explain it. No, I did not mean that. I think it was bind. There we go. And there we go. Holy crap, that took forever. Boy, am I glad to see that working. Is it going to give a response though? Let's find out. Awesome. So we finally got it working. Now, 3 hours of that was firewall issues. Then I couldn't use LM Studio for it. But now I got it both working. And so actually the final format is to use Web UI and LMester to get all of it working. And I think I can even search models here. Let's give it a shot. Let's do DeepSeek. See if we can add it. No, we can't. We're probably going to have to do that with the actual driver LMS using those commands. But there you go. Hope you've enjoyed the disaster that was me getting this working. And I'm so glad the inference works. It's amazing.